Hello, I'm Brad Danton. I'm the Indirect Tax Leader at PwC, and I have with me today Rob Morris. Rob's an Indirect Tax Director based in New York. He's going to talk to us about a recent decision in the New York Appellate Court, and it really deals with the idea of data and reports and whether or not that may constitute taxable information services. Rob?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. And this case stems from a similar line of cases that started with the Wegmans decision in 2019. But what's important to understand is that New York is one of a handful of states that taxes information services. So in this case, the taxpayer was providing a service that measured online advertising effectiveness. So they were collecting data, analyzing it, and providing reports and recommendations to their clients.
Rob, can you tell us a little bit more about the taxpayer's arguments?
Yeah, the taxpayer argued that they were providing non-taxable consulting services, but the court applied what they call a primary function test, sort of like a true object or a characterization test, and determined that the true object or the primary function of what the company was providing were these reports being furnished to their clients, and that constituted taxable information services.
And Rob, what ultimately did the court decide?
So the main thing really to understand here, aside from it, that the courts and the state will increasingly interpret certain things as taxable information services, there's also an exclusion for information that's personal or individual in nature. And really, since Wegmans, that exclusion has been narrowed and eroded to the point that it's very hard to meet that standard. So taxpayers going forward should understand that if they are providing information services to clients in the state, even if the reports seem custom in nature, it is hard to meet that tax exclusion for personal or individual.
Rob, any advice for our clients that are listening?
I would just say understand that New York is unique with this rule. If you have clients here, that this exclusion that many taxpayers relied on for decades really is hard to meet that standard nowadays and should to some degree be disregarded. And that also understanding what you're providing, is it information services or something different?
Well, Rob, certainly appreciate your time and your insight. Very helpful. Obviously, for our taxpayers, the taxation of services grows increasingly more complex. But we certainly appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to our next conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.